first video of this series, we described in a broad general terms what faith is and how all people have it, no matter who they are. Faith is a function of the human nature to take one thing as its ultimate good or ultimate concern. This one thing becomes our God, our strength, and our reason for life. That one thing, whether it be our family loyalty or science or God or our own pleasure, is the basis for everything that we call spirituality or faith. But having said that, that's just the beginning. It's not the end. We can't say that everybody's ultimate concern, everybody's faith is as good as the others, because it is not. Some faith holds up better in times of trouble than others. And what we're going to look at in this video is what constitutes good faith. What are the characteristics of a person's faith, a person's spirituality, that enables it to be able to give strength during times of trouble, no matter who you are? How do you tell good faith from bad faith? That's the subject of our discussion.
Faith is a function of the human spirit, quite apart from religious belief. It gives our lives meaning and hope, especially during times of crisis. Even if a person does not have a religious faith, they must have faith in something in order to be able to stand in times of crisis. Many faiths can give support in time of trouble, but not all faiths are true or good. Functionality and truth in faith are really not the same. No faith is good or helpful unless you believe in it. What separates useful faith from non-useful faith? For our faith to be useful, we must believe it and we must use it. We must examine the belief system that we profess. We must also commit to that belief system, to our faith, completely.
Like a jewel that's hit with a hammer, you may discover a hidden flaw. A faith may seem good and strong on the surface, but when the hammer blows of life come is when we really discover whether our faith is strong or not. Concern. Why can't we have many concerns? Why can't we have many different faiths depending on the situation at the time? Why can't we, for example, be Christians on Sunday morning and go to church and praise God, but the next day live for ourselves, for our own pleasure, for our money? Many people obviously do that. Many people have many different concerns in their life, and they're always trying to balance them. What's wrong with that? Well, that kind of faith is something that is really very old. It's called polytheism, having many gods, having many faiths. The ancient Greeks and Romans, with their multiple gods such as Zeus and Hera, Jupiter, and all of those gods, really had multiple faiths. They believed in worshiping the god that was convenient at that time, calling upon them. Now, that polytheism is why Christians were persecuted in the early days, because the Christians refused to have many different gods. They refused to worship Caesar on Monday and Jesus on Sunday. And instead of that, for that reason, they were persecuted and they were martyred. The problem with polytheism really is this, is that polytheism, the worship of many gods, suggests that we are free to pick and choose our masters on any given day. And when we do that, we've actually chosen one master already, and that master is ourselves. In a polytheistic society, they don't so much worship gods as use them for whatever purposes they wish. Instead of serving the god that they follow, their god serves them. They call upon him when they need him, they dispense with him otherwise. That isn't polytheism, really. What it is worship of self. In polytheism, everything bows down to our own opinions or our own concept of community. The only real constant in polytheism, in pluralism, is the sovereignty of self. Our own wills become our own gods. If we're to have
Many people have a kind of a la carte faith. That is, a mixed faith that's thrown together by people who have not really thought through what they believe. This kind of faith is usually not helpful in times of trouble, since it exerts no real control or help to its adherents. Rather, the adherence to that faith controls the beliefs. Their real faith is actually in themselves, since they're the final judge of what is right and wrong. Robert Bellah wrote in Habits of the Heart, "The language of values, as commonly used by these individualist faiths, is self-contradictory, precisely because it is not a language of value or moral choice. It presumes the existence of an absolutely empty, unencumbered, improvisational self. It obscures personal reality, social reality, and particularly the moral reality that links person and society. Good faith is not something we control, but an acknowledgement of what controls us. We do not choose our faith based on our loyalties, but we choose our loyalties based on our faith. When we have the freedom to decide purely on our own feelings and desires, then our feelings and desires become our only true faith."
Here are some characteristics of a faith that works for us. The first of those characteristics is consistency. We cannot at once believe in both pacifism and murder. We cannot at one time worship Christ and Caesar. We cannot believe that Jesus is the Son of God and the only unique Son of the Father, and at the same time believe that all religions are equally valid. You have to make a choice on what you believe in. And in order for us to be strong in our faith, we have to be consistent in what we believe and what we say. The second characteristic of a strong faith is durability. A good faith is something that has stood the test of time. It's easy to come up with a new faith and many new ideas about religions and this and that. But the religions that have lasted and the ideologies that have lasted over the years have not been thought up by one person, but by many people. They've been debated and questioned by geniuses over periods of centuries. It's very hard to have a unique idea about philosophy or religion because every other idea has already been taken. Many of them have been disposed of over the years, and many of them have been refined. And a good, strong faith is a faith that has proven itself over a period of time. A third characteristic is verifiability. Some people think that faith and reason are enemies. They're not. They're friends. Where reason cannot take us, we stand on faith. But where a faith steps into the material world, it is also reasonable. It can be verified. If no other way can a faith be verified, but looking at the people who have followed it, that is one way of being able to verify a faith. As we look through history, a faith that lasts will have worked in the lives of many people. We will not find places where there are huge glaring problems, but we'll find out that those problems can be worked out. A good faith is verifiable. And finally, a good faith is practical, meaning that it has to work. If your faith doesn't work, there's something wrong. If it doesn't bring us comfort in life, if it doesn't bring us strength, if it doesn't bring us joy, if it doesn't do what it says it's going to do, then that faith will not last the test of time. In the next video, we're going to begin to talk about different kinds of faith, different kinds of things that we make as our ultimate concern. We're going to be looking at 3 of those next time. And we're going to see that it really makes a difference what we take to be true.